Hello, friends. Many of you have been asking, how do we adapt and transition in a healthy way when we are receiving a new leader? Well, there are many, many steps for a healthy transition, but perhaps the most important one is the one I'm going to discuss today. This will be the first of a series of leaders on how to create a healthy transition in whatever place that you're working or serving, particularly when you receive a new leader. The first step, and I think the most important step, is to listen. Listen to your new leader in particular. It's easy when a new leader arrives that we want to tell them all about ourselves and make sure they get to know us. But the most important thing we can do is to listen to them. Listen to understand. Listen to understand their leadership style. Listen to understand the vision and values that they are bringing. Listen to understand who they are and why they have joined this beautiful place that you're a part of, this beautiful team that you're a part of. Listen to understand rather than seeking to be understood. There will be plenty of time for them to get to know you. And if I know your leader's probably going to start asking a lot of questions of you because they also will be listening to understand. So ask questions to encourage them to talk with you, not just to listen to you, because you want to get to know them so that you can serve in the most effective and collegial and collaborative way possible. So listening sounds easy, but we all know it's not, and it's a lost art in most of Western culture. So I want to give you a few pretty easy steps to listening effectively and maybe even moving to deep listening. The first step is don't take your device in with you. If you've been privileged into a one-on-one meeting with your new leader, leave your device in your car, your purse, another room, or at least turn it to do not disturb mode. If you have an Apple Watch, make sure that it's on the dark mode or the do not disturb mode. And if you don't know how to do that, just take off your watch and put it in another room. It shows our leaders, it shows anyone, if we don't allow our devices to distract us when we're listening to them. And it's very hard to listen to someone when all of these voices that are in our devices start beeping and buzzing us. So put the beep and the buzz away so that you can listen to the person in front of you. A second step is to reflect back what you're hearing. Often whenever we're meeting someone for the first time or the first few times, we don't always understand how they talk, what some of their slang is, and sometimes we have a lot of assumptions about what we're going to hear, but every leader brings their own vantage point and their own way of communicating. And one of the things you can do when they pause or when they ask something of you is you can say, what I hear you saying is, reflect back what you've heard. I think what you're asking of me is this, and explain what you think they're asking of you. This is particularly important if they're your leader or your supervisor, so that you have clarity about what they're expecting. Reflecting back is a powerful way of listening and listening well. A third thing you can do is make eye contact, like I'm trying to make eye contact with the camera. Making eye contact shows them that you are listening, that you value and respect them. It also ticks something in your brain so that you can pay better attention to what they're saying to you. If you're looking out the window, that can be another distraction. If you're a little embarrassed about eye contact, that can be another distraction simply because you're darting around the room, or they can feel like you're not listening, that you wish you were rather somewhere else. So hard as it may be, try to make eye contact and add to eye contact those gestures that show you're listening. If you really understand what they're saying, nod. If you're not sure you understand, go ahead and shake your head and say, I'm not sure I understand. That's another important part of listening, is interrupting if you're confused. That's the one time when interruption is a valuable part of listening. Oh, I don't know what that word means. It's something I often have to say to my spouse, who has an incredible vocabulary. But it interrupts a conversation if I don't know what he means and we keep going. So instead I interrupt and say, I don't know what that word means, or, oh, I didn't quite hear you. That's the one time when interruption is important, is when you're not clear on what the person is talking with you about. And finally, when listening, at the end, I usually walk away with a notepad full of notes. So the one thing I do take into a meeting, especially if it's a new supervisor, a new leader, or even a new partner that I'm going to be working with, I take my notepad so that I can take notes, especially if they're giving me important things like their vision, their values, specific instructions for what they want from me, specific guidelines about how they want me to interact with them or with the team. Because my memory is not that great, never has been, but when I have notes, I have something to remember by. So listen is the first and most important step to building a healthy relationship through a healthy transition. Not just with your new leaders, but with the people you work with every single day. Listen well, and you will lead and serve well. Thanks for listening to this little video. I hope it's helpful.